Hello, gang. Hello, hello, hello. It's about that time, baby. It is time that we rank all of the DPS against each other in terms of power, ready for midnight. What is up, people? Check DMs on Discord. I will check after stream magic. I'll make sure to do that. Mousesiv, appreciate the follow. How's it going, people? How's it going? Happy Friday, everybody. It felt like the most Friday Thursday yesterday ever. Ever. Danders Frames. What does that even mean? Rexu? I feel like I recognize your name. Time to lowball our mains.
It's time to sandbag my mains for midnight. I repeat.
Oh, does anyone use... Oh, you're replying to Darth. Does anyone use the enhanced quality of life add-on for unit frames? Wait, why specifically for enhanced? For lashing flames or what? Maybe from CSGO, you big time CS player. Were you kind of a big dog? Hands with the prime, thank you very much, my good friend. Hey mate, why didn't you go full screen? You already had the tier list up. Oh, I just forgot, okay? I'm innocent, I promise. Show rogue, please. Listen, guys, we'll get to your spec, okay? That will definitely happen. I will be doing all of the DPS specs. What's up, Rye? What are you fixing to do? What does that mean, Buster? What's up, Blay? William? How's the TBC grind going? Is anybody else in chat playing TBC as we speak? Live in the flesh? Sig, what's your main going to be going into midnight, my friend? This bag's kind of awkward. Chat, I booked a High Rocks. I'm doing a High Rocks. How fucking cool is that? It's nerve-wracking. It's exciting. But it's fucking scary at the same time. I'm doing a solo men's High Rocks in May. You guys probably don't even know what a High Rocks is, do you? Ellie and Finn, thank you for the follow. 1 second, just raw dogging this creatine. What? There we go. So what we're going to do with this tier list is every single week going up to midnight now, we are going to be updating this tier list because we're likely going to get tuning class changes each week. So in accordance with that, every single Friday from now on, live on stream, we're going to be updating the tier list. Now, we have just had some recent changes on Wednesday, and there hasn't been a whole load of testing done. So, like, for example, beta's down today. So some of these specs I haven't got a fully qualified opinion on since the recent changes, but we know roughly where all of them are going to go, okay? I need you to do me a solid and send Athlete into a tier for itself below F. We need some solid Giga sandbag. Listen, I might be maining Athlete, so we can work out a deal there. No problem, my friend. What's going on, Rye? What's up? What's happening? What are you fixing to do with this tier list? Did I answer your question? I'm not sure if you're acting sus right now or not. I read that. It means what you're about to do. Oh, and then, okay, that is who he was talking. There we go. Never mind. How's it going, Soul Soap? What are we up to, chat? What we got going on over the weekend? Talk to me. Been looking forward to this. Got DK and Survival Hunter on my radar for main. I mean, you're in a good spot then. Yeah, I thought he was as well, but I didn't know if that was a slur. Unless you're going to play Unholy, don't bother. I tested Frost yesterday. Yikes. Wait, is Frost not looking too hot then? Because that's one of the specs that I haven't really seen much of. S tier, Moonkin, and Warlock. Yikes. Guys, appreciate the follows. Thank you. What I might do is turn off alerts. Is that toxic? But I am going to be turning this into a YouTube video, okay? Monka tier list. Monka DOS. I think beta is almost over. We're at 20 days, so I think soon these changes will only be on live. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much more tuning we're going to get. I have no idea, to be honest. But we'll have beta for a while yet. Quick, everybody sub now before alerts are off. Quick, everybody use your Twitch Primes for ad-free viewing. Should we do that? Is these rankings from the live game or from the beta? This is the beta rankings with the Apex talents. There is no point ranking anything on pre-patch. Pre-patch is a meme. A complete meme. I think we'll get tuning until Heroic Week. Yeah, I mean, nobody knows is the true answer. What's up, Vinny? Enjoying the content. Keep up the good work. Thank you for the kind words, paid chatter. One of my paid bots to just compliment me the whole stream. Might have to even make a bonus S+ tier for Arcane. Spoilers. Spoilers. What's up, Krog? Appreciate the follow, my friend. God, I would hate it if I missed Vesperal TV talking about my spec because of ads. Thankfully, I can use my Twitch Prime for ad-free viewing. Holy, all the bots are going to work today. We'd love to hear it. He makes a good point, though. And Vinny fell for the bait. I have just turned alerts off, Vinny, but just know that that Prime means a lot to me, my friend. And now you've got ad-free viewing for the whole month because you used it on your favorite streamer. Your audio's a bit low. I don't know why. I'm not sure why. Because if I turn it up anymore, my mic starts peaking. So I don't know. Maybe I need a new microphone. I'm not sure what it is, but yeah. Right. So I've done the intro for it already. Yeah. Okay. Should we crack on, chat? Should we crack on? Are we ready? Have we done enough stalling to let everybody land in here? I mean, people are constantly going to be coming in while we are doing the tier list. And they'll be like, do my spec now. Wait, why is my spec in the F tier? Why? Ottenar with the Prime as well, straight from the follow. What a beast. Thank you very much, my friend. Little hype train started as well. Abort mission. Tier lists have ruined the game. Everybody copies Vesp's tier list verbatim. And if Vesp puts something in the F tier, I'm never inviting it for the whole of midnight. I repeat. Well, oh yeah, but you said you played Frost yesterday, didn't you? Yeah, Deathbringer I feel like might be the play. His audio is so low because of how high up in the air he is. Vesp, he is 6'6" after all. I don't know why I read that like a robot, but here we are. I am, in fact, 6'6". Fucking jacked as well. Watch you on YouTube every day. Appreciate you, my friend. Is this tier list? Middle with the 5 gifted. You're too good to me. I saw your comment yesterday, my friend. Thank you. And thank you for, what's that, 15 total gifted in the last 2 streams or something? You bloody beast. Holy middle. I know, Jolene. You love everything that I do, right? S tier sub rogue. S tier pad rogue. Wait, what? Spoilers? Spoilers? We're putting Windwalker in doggy water tier, right? Fun to play, but damage is abysmal. Listen, stop trying to get spoilers out of me, you little rascals, okay? We're going to get to your spec. We're going to get there. Don't you worry. Right. Let's crack on then. So we're going to start as we see the DPS specs lined up here, and we're just going to work our way through them. So up first, we do have the Frost Death Knight. So there's not been a whole lot of people playing Frost this week, and I have a feeling that's something to do with the fact that Unholy is potentially giga broken, but we'll get to that in a second. No spoilers, all right? So Frost has had some big buffs to Deathbringer, and we're not 100% sure what hero talent they're going to be playing, but Frost is actually performing semi-decent at the moment. It doesn't perform great on single target. Deathbringer might help that, especially for raid, but from what I'm seeing at the moment, it doesn't seem like Frost is doing that great on single target with the Mythic Plus build at least, but it does do a very good AoE to compensate, and that kind of carries its overall damage to a respectable point. Where is Org? Oh, I thought it didn't have it on this list for a second, but you were asking, you're not an Org main anymore, little bro. Chill out. Chill out. Wait, what's going on here? Have I gotten title on Mythic Plus recently? Yeah, I'm 4K Feral Druid on live. I'm my name's Feral Druid on live. Feral solid right now, maybe. We'll see, won't we? We will see. So yeah, Frost is in a decent place overall in terms of damage. They could definitely use a bump up to their single target damage. That would definitely be nice. And they have some respectable prio damage as well. What is a big selling point about DK in general, and we'll touch on this for Unholy as well, is they are ridiculously tanky. Like, it's almost impossible to die on these specs. So that really plays into their favor because, and I think that's why they have had such a strong place in the meta in the War Within. I think everyone realized quite quickly how tanky they are, which is such a big attribute to bring to a group. And then you also have super niche but very useful utility as well. Like we saw how impactful Death Grips were in the War Within, throughout the whole of the War Within. You also still have an AoE stop with your Blinding Sleet as well. You've got a semi-range kick as well. So what I'm going to do with Frost DK is I'm going to put this in the bottom of the A tier. We are going to try and rank the specs within their tiers. So towards the right side of the tier will be on the lower end of A, and then towards the top end will be the better specs in the A tier, but that goes for every single tier, okay? My phone's going nuts. What's going on here? Oh my god. Wait, I was just telling people that I'm a 4K Feral Druid on live. Jake the Brit. What? I can't believe he put that there. Is this guy stupid? Right, let me put some nice music on as well. What did I used to listen to while doing tier lists? I'll recognize. Was it? I think it was maybe this. There we go. What's up, Artie? Did we lose you to Tilt yesterday? What happened? I didn't see. Okay, so moving on to the big bro then of the Death Knights is the Unholy DK. Now, this, since the recent tuning, is giga busted. This spec is one of the best specs in the game. It does everything. It has insane single target damage, great AoE damage still. It also has great priority damage too. On single target, your Dread Plague is absolutely pumping. I think that is because of the Pestilence talent that you run, and it just explodes. I've seen DKs coming off of Kroth, which does have a damage amp, but I've seen them finishing Kroth, the second boss in Althar Academy, at 200k DPS. Now, riddle me that one, please, and thank you. The AoE is super... As I mentioned, the AoE is cracked as well. Graveyard is still blasting, so the Apex talents are looking juicy for the Unholy Death Knight. Same story as Frost DK in terms of utility and defensiveness. Super tanky specs. They did lose Lichborn, but they still have Anti-Magic Shell, which is one of the most broken defensive buttons in the game. You've got Icebound Fortitude as well, and you've got Death Strike with any spare runic power. A good DK is going to pull some runic power if they know that they're about to take a big hit, and they're just going to heal that all the way back up. So, Unholy DK, straight in the S tier. This spec is giga. It is pumping out some crazy numbers. Beta, I don't think beta is working. I mean, it might be up now. I don't know. I ain't too sure. I skipped Blood DK. Yo, my bad, chat. My bad. Literally wrong. Shut up, idiot. Shut up, idiot. Yappa Extraordinaire stream. Let's go. Yeah, is beta up or is it down? It's down. It's up. Guys, gonna make your mind up or... Retri Pala, good. Now, my good friend, wouldn't it be crazy if I was doing a power tier list and I was working through all of the DPS specs and we were going to decide whether Ret Paladin was good or not? Wouldn't that just be fucking wild? It's up, but it's fucked, according to Jake the Brit. Is Jake the Brit live? Is he live right now? They're just... I don't really know, to be honest, Dan. I would imagine they're just on beta. Beta is up. You can't load in any dungeons. I would be, but it's ass. Unlucko. I was thinking about maining Unholy and I open your stream and you put it on S tier. Is this a sign? That is your sign. Send it. To be honest, I do kind of expect Unholy to get a nerf. I'm expecting probably a Dread Plague nerf and also, or maybe like a Pestilence nerf. And also probably a little Graveyard nerf. But I wouldn't be surprised if they kept Graveyard where it is. Unholy's definitely getting nerfed. Maybe. Maybe. We will see. Right, let me find my checks notes. Right, let's move over to the Demon Hunter then. So we've got our new spec, Devourer. Now, it's not currently shaping up to be a meta spec, but it's going to be a meta spec, okay? Right, just hear me out. If you want a meta prediction, Devourer is going to be in there from me. It's the new spec. Blizzard are going to want to entice people into playing their game. So everyone just commit to Devourer as your main right now. But this spec is already a big pumper. It's doing a lot of overall damage. It can compete with the specs in the S tier. However, I just don't think it brings as much. It definitely doesn't bring as much single target. It still has very good single target, but not as much. It's got great AoE damage as well. I'm still deciding where I rate it in terms of priority damage. I think its priority damage is good, but it's definitely not exceptional. So I think if anything, that would be holding it back. But I think this spec always seems to have damage. You're always constantly getting into your meta. You're throwing down those big collapsing stars, and then you're firing your Void Ray off into a massive Eradicate. Eradicate is like most of your damage alongside collapsing stars. So damage is not an issue for this spec. This spec is definitely pumping. It's got damage for every single pack. So yeah, I think that's it in terms of damage. Wait, let me make this a little bit wider. There we go. Peepo wide. From my past experience, being a month away from release, it's better to be top S tier and potentially getting gutted, or better to be a bit lower and hope for some buffs. Yeah, you wait, I don't. Oh, is it better? You're asking. I wouldn't say it's good to be an S tier spec right now, because you're probably like, there's a chance you just get fucking bombed on. That spec sucks. This is not in terms of fun. This is in terms of performance. What do you recommend for a new player in WoW? I'm new to WoW. I played TBC Phase 3 on Classic. Ret Pala, BM Hunter. I do have a video on my channel Switch. That is the easiest specs going into Midnight. So yeah, Devourer, very, very strong in terms of damage. Pretty tanky as well. You've got the leech while you're inside your meta. You've got 2 charges of blur now as well. So that is big, because that's always been a decent defensive on a very short cooldown. And now you've got 2 charges of it. You also bring darkness to your group as well, which can be very helpful in certain situations, but it's definitely not something you're going to get massive value out of over the whole course of a key. And then in terms of utility, you've got a nice AoE stun on a relatively short cooldown. You've got a ranged interrupt. Remember, you are a ranged spec as well. I do tend to forget that I'm a ranged spec when I'm playing Devourer. And then you're also obviously going to bring Chaos Brand to your party as well. So the Devourer DH is sitting solidly in the A+ tier. You want to be in the A+ tier. Because what's going to happen, chat? All of these S tier specs are going to get nerfed into the ground, and then by default, Devourer is going to end on top. Fuck it off, Jake. All these specs are easy now. They made the game for 5-year-olds at Midnight. Yep. Yep. Let me see your 100 passes on every single spec, buddy. Thanks for the follows, gang. Appreciate you all. And obviously you guys are here for the long term, right? We're not just here to get the confirmation bias on when your spec is currently sat on this tier list. Oh, can I do that? Holy, we can change it so it only shows DPS rolls. Let's go, Omega. Thanks, big dog. Okay, and then the fall from grace. We're going to talk about Havoc now. My God, I played Havoc the other day. This spec is so unbelievably mid, it's painful. I was sweating my face off, doing backflips and the works, doing all my double blade dances inside my Essence Break windows. Tank damage. What the hell is going on with that? And somehow they just got a nerf. I think they got nerfed on Eldrazi Reaver because of Vengeance, maybe? I'd hope so. I hope they're not actually nerfing Havoc because of Havoc numbers, because Havoc ain't doing anything right now. So that's unfortunate. I feel like at the moment, especially in the more paddy dungeons like your Algathar Academy, Havoc seems to be playing Felscard, which is unfortunate. That's a lot more pad damage, and you lose all of the prio damage that your Eldrazi Reaver hero talent brings you. And that was what made Havoc so good in Season 3 of The War Within. Priority damage is always very sought after, super valuable damage profile to bring. But it looks like Felscard might be the play, and especially after the recent nerfs to Eldrazi Reaver as well. So it's not even like it's doing a shitload of priority damage, but I mean, just very mediocre on damage, and even that is probably generous. I'm gonna put Havoc down in the D tier. There, I did it. Okay, it's tanky. You've got your leech, you've got your 2 charges of blur. Thank God they got rid of Netherwalk tied to blur. Having an immunity on a 1-minute cooldown with 2 charges for a couple of seconds, crazy work. But they got rid of that. It brings fine utility as well. You've got your Chaos Nova stun. They did lose Spell Eruption, so they lost an extra single target stun there, but that kind of aligns with all of the CC pruning that Blizzard have brought in anyway. So it's not looking good for Havoc right now, but I would imagine that it's probably going to get some buffs in the near future. Although they do seem to just kind of forget about Havoc in tuning, don't they? In general. Jake, I need the next one. Oh, did you already do it? You already did it, didn't you? Nerf Survival as well, which was stupid. That's a questionable take. What did they nerf with Survival again? They nerfed Sentinel, didn't they? I can't remember. Let's go, Moto. Happy to have you here, my friend. It's good to see you, champ. I don't understand why most content creators make an A+ category. What's the difference between an A class or an A+ class? I mean, it's a valid question. I mean, if we just had one tier here, spoiler, you're going to end up with a lot of classes in one tier. And I mean, I guess what you could do is bring them all down a tier, but I think inherently people kind of think as B is like shit. B is not shit, but I think that's what people think. So if I put Frost DK down here, they'd be like, bloody hell, that's 3 tiers off the top. So, yeah. Survival's doing fine. It looks bad next to Unholy. No, yeah, Survival is more than fine. Yeah, guys, Unholy DK is crackers right now. A+ is usually specs that are most likely to be met at S, the things that are giga broken. The way that I kind of think of it is, like, let's say you had 2 specs in S tier. A+ is kind of like that 3rd filler spec. You know, any of these specs could easily end up meta. These are like guaranteed meta until they inevitably probably get nerfed. And then these are, like, they could easily be meta. And it separates the A tier nicely as well, because like Devourer is just a different level compared to Frost DK. I thought the add-on has been updated again. Yeah, I've released my plater if that's what you're talking about. What's up, Spicy? A+ is usually meta outsiders or candidates. Yeah, exactly. Exactly that. Where is Destrolog? Patience, young Padawan. It's coming. At the end. Apologies if you can hear my cousin screaming, by the way. Just let me know if you can. Right, we are on to Druid. Where is Druid? Let me find my notes, which are hidden from you guys. Yeah. Hi, mate. When are you doing Fury Warrior? Oh, I'll do that right now for you, shall I? Yeah, I'll put the rest of the tier list aside and just do your spec right now, shall I? You dirty dog, Jake. You dirty dog. Wouldn't be a best tier list without people in chat trying to convince you that you were doing something wrong. I mean, ain't that every tier list? Twitch chat knows best. Maybe we should make a Twitch chat tier list. Maybe we should do that. Right, Druid time. So we have Balanced Druid, which has had some pretty sizable buffs. It's been pretty much underperforming the whole of beta so far, but on this recent tuning has actually had some considerable buffs, which is super nice. And I think it's actually kind of going to make it a sleeper good spec. Now, it's definitely not one of the top performers, but I know for a fact that if I got into a key on Balanced Druid, I could compete and hold my own. I wouldn't be dumpstered on even if I was playing at like the 99th percentile, which is what I tend to do. So we've had some nice single target buffs. We've had some nice AoE buffs. I do think the single target is still very much lacking for Balanced Druid, unfortunately. The buffs definitely aren't going to be enough to offset that. But what is kind of nice with the Balanced Druid is if you have boss fights with a damage amp, which we have a lot of in Season 1, balance is very, very bursty if you know that the damage amp is coming, because you just go into your Incarn and you fire off like 9 Star Surges in a row. It's ridiculous. I do think Star Surge could use a bit more of a buff, but outside of that, AoE is always a strong facet of the Balanced Druid, right? We've got big Starfall damage, big Shooting Stars damage as well. Starfire's just had a nice buff as well. So overall, it's still quite a pad spec. Balance is quite often known as a pad spec, right? It doesn't bring much in the way of priority damage, although Shooting Stars has seemed to do some decent priority damage. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, it has amazing mass AoE. Like, you're going to easily probably top the DPS meter in like first pool of Alcathar Academy and stuff like that, right? Balance also going into Midnight, I think with the pruning of everyone else's defensives, it's kind of brought Balance up to an even playing field, because a lot of people say that Balanced Druid is squishy, and it is to an extent, especially to rot damage. You have Bark Skin on a very short cooldown. You have Heart of the Wild now, which is an AoE heal for your group. I don't know how potent that actually is. And you obviously do have Bear Form, so you can live as Balanced Druid, but it's just you will do no DPS if you have to keep sitting in Bear Form. So I wouldn't say that their defensives ever hinder them from being in the meta, because they can live things if they need to. They bring nice utility as well. You've got a few AoE stops. You've got an AoE silence as well, which I think is pretty massive, especially with the pruning of all the AoE CC to the other specs. So I honestly think that Balanced Druid is in a decent spot, and I'm going to put the Balanced Druid in the A tier, bottom of A. It would have been a lot further down before the buff, sorry, but I think Balance is in a pretty decent spot now. Yeah, Havoc's in a rough spot. Should I get Jaycon for the Feral Druid section of this video? Should I do that? Balance is thick. Sword Tettle's live through some stuff the other day. It's thick. Thick in a good way. Thick with 2 C's. Ugh. The problem with Druids is Resto is off the chain, so all the other specs will be hard to get into. Yeah, but what I do with my tier list is I don't base the ranking of a spec on anything to do with how the other specs of that class are performing. I rank them purely on how that spec is performing, not whether like, not, oh, I'm going to put Frost DK in B tier, because why would you ever play Frost DK? Because you can play Unholy. Some people want to play Frost DK, right? And they don't care that Unholy's good. So I want to place them in the correct spot. Can you do me a solid and do Ellie next so I can go to bed? I'd love to, Topping, but then I have to do it for everyone. I'm sorry. It'll go on YouTube, okay? This video will go on YouTube. Then you can skip straight to Elemental, see where I put it, click off the video, and ruin my average view duration on the video. How does that sound? That's paddle. It's a paddle racket. Hey, what's up, baby brain? The pumper lock is here. Exactly that. Exactly that. Why do I always sound so quiet on streams and videos? I don't know. I need some audio technical nerd to help me with that. My mic, if I increase the volume of my mic anymore, it starts peaking and clipping and whatever fucking fancy audio terms you love to use. So I can't do that. So I'm stuffed. Oh, I did have a Prime sub. Menix with the Prime. Thank you. My G. You're the only content creator I listen to when it comes to a proper tier list. Oh, you've got some questionable takes, my friend. Just like me. Now, I mean, I play everything, right? There are some specs that I'm a bit more clueless on than others, but the whole point is this is a progressive tier list, so we can constantly update it as we go, right? F tier is for Feral Druid. Yeah, without the space as well. And what realm is he on as well? Somebody riddle me that. Okay, so the counterparts of the Balance Druid then, we have Feral. So Feral is doing lots and lots and lots of AoE dam. It does big rip dam, big frantic frenzy. You can even play a build that's slightly RNG with a 1 minute convoke build. And if you proc lots of frantic frenzies, you are doing numbers. You're doing work on AoE. It doesn't even need cooldowns. Like, as long as the target count is big enough for Feral, you are doing a lot of damage. Also, with an increased target count, you're getting a lot more funnel and priority damage as well. Ferocious Bite is one of your top damage sources by the end of a key, so we're getting some nice priority damage on the Feral Druid as well, which is something that Balance doesn't bring. It still has the eternal struggle of lacking a little bit on single target. Don't we, Jake the Brit? Yeah, don't we know it? So that holds it back a little bit and definitely holds it back from being in the highest of the tiers. But, I mean, it's a super consistent spec outside of that. It's pretty tanky, I would argue, as well. You're playing Druid of the Claw, so you can get a lot of benefits from your bear form. You've got Bart Skin. You've got Survival Instincts as well, which is a perk over the Balanced Druid too. Drop into bear form, pop a Frenzied Regen, and carry over some of that armor and health as well, which is super nice. So I'd say that this is probably one of the tankier specs in the game now. They did lose Renewal, which is unfortunate. But I'm also going to put Feral in the A tier. We're going to put it at the top of the A tier for now. Hunger for Blood with a good tank means S tier Feral, trust me. I mean, it definitely ain't S tier when you're playing it, buddy. What's Hunger for Blood? Is that the energy regen when the target dies? Or is that, no, is that funnel damage? Is that, no, that's Ferocious Bite damage for every rip you have. Yeah. Okay, it was the first one that I said. Feral aggro always seems to be an issue. Have a friend that dies every dungeon from it. Is his name Rezi on the beta? Yeah, this is for Mythic Plus. This is for Mythic Plus. Right, moving on then. We're going to skip over Evoker because they need to delete that shit from the game. Joking. We're going to talk about Org now. Where is Org? On my notes. Now, Org is a hard one for me to rank because, one, you obviously don't see the damage on the DPS meters, so you have to go into the logs for that. But the problem is right now is Org's damage is directly scaled off of other, well, not directly, but you know what I mean. It's scaled off of how the other DPS specs are performing. And when you're paired up with an Unholy DK and an Arcane Mage, Org looks broken and is broken. There's no arguing that. But that is very comp dependent and also depends on the players that you're playing with. I mean, that has always been the case for Org, obviously, but with the state that some of the other specs that I realize I just spoiled are in right now, it's making it look ridiculous. So what I want to do with Org is I want to kind of place it in the middle, in between like the top end and... How do I want to word that? So I don't just want to put Org in the S tier. I think what I'm going to do is put Org in the A+ tier and kind of play it a little bit safe with it because, yeah, it's shining at the moment because of how good the other specs are, but we're anticipating that those are probably going to be notched down a peg or two. Org, I mean, the spec is going to scale well into nicer keys. It's definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with going into those higher keys. You're bringing a lot of value to your team outside of just damage as well. So that is super nice. Brings great utility. You've got Zephyr as an AoE damage reduction, which is super nice. You've got plenty of other utility that you bring to the group. You're quite tanky as well. You've got Cheat Death too, which is always a very, very strong defensive to have. So yeah, we're going to stick Org in the A+ tier. Yeah, I just spoiled Arcane, didn't I? God damn it. God damn it. Banger court value this season as well. True, there's a lot of bleeds this season, so Cauterizing Flame is going to get a lot of value too. No kidding. Try being... Oh shit, what did I just do? Platinator is inside my Discord. All of my add-on, all of my UI is inside my Discord, people. So go grab the string from in there. Right, let's talk about Devastation Evoker then, which is actually, let me try that again without the voice crack. We are almost 28 years old. Devastation is actually bonkers. It has had a slight nerf to Flame Shaper in this recent tuning, and I haven't seen it since. It's a pretty, I would say, substantial nerf to the amount of damage you're going to do with Consume Flame. However, this spec is just pumping, dude. Like, AoE damage, one of the burstiest specs in the game, hands down. I've seen 2 million DPS out of this spec on the first pool of Algethar Academy. It is ridiculous. Just across the board, it's doing great damage. However, it does not bring really any prio damage. And that is a big fault of the Devastation Evoker, because you're just spamming Pyre in AoE, which has no real priority damage. So that is a drawback of this spec. It does have nice single target damage, and Disintegrate did just get a 10% buff, so that will beef that up even more. I don't think it will be enough to warrant you going Scale Commander. Could be wrong, but I'm kind of just biased against Scale Commander anyway, because I feel like the playstyle is dog water. So yeah, I mean, and even with Flame Shaper as well, it's not just bursty anymore. You still have consistent damage because you're constantly consuming your Fire Breath for extra damage. So you've got damage every single pack as well, which is super nice. And then you get to your Dragon Rage cooldown and you just fucking blow up the world. It's nuts. So there is that. You've got some decent defensives. You don't have the cheap death that Org does have. You've got 2 charges of Obsidian Scales, Hardened Scales, whatever that is called. I'm pretty sure they baked Cauterizing Renewing Blaze into that as well, so you get healed on the damage that you take as well, which is super nice. With that, you still don't bring a nice group or raid buff. You've still got that dog shit Blessing of the Bronze or whatever it's called, so you're not bringing much value there. And then you do still have 2 AoE stops as well, which is super nice, and might be one of the only specs still in the game that actually has access to that. Obviously, the knockback isn't ideal, but you do still have access to that. So I'm actually going to put Devastation Evoker in the A+ tier as well. What I would say with these two is, in a pugging setting, in like your average keys, Devastation Evoker is going to be better than Org. But in a coordinated setting and in the higher keys, then Org is definitely going to shine over Dev. But you can play the two, and both are in a super, super good spot right now. Bicep flex. It wasn't a nerf. It was a front load nerf. You still get the same amount of actual damage. Oh, what? So is it? It's just your Fire Breath lasts for longer, but it doesn't get consumed as quickly. Okay, I mean, yeah. That better go in the video I'll be watching to check. Yeah, hey, damn straight you will. Damn bloody straight you will. Right, let's move on to Hunter then. So, Beast Mastery has just had a 12% flat nerf and some additional nerfs on top of that as well. I don't even feel like BM was that crazy good before. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong on that. I really didn't see a lot of BM, but I didn't feel like it was that insane. So that is a hefty, hefty nerf. And this spec is looking pretty down bad right now. They have a consistent damage profile because just nothing goes on with this spec. You have Bestial Wrath every 30 seconds. You don't have a 2-minute cooldown or a 2-minute go anymore. So it's just very consistent. You don't really bring any massive burst, which is unfortunate for the spec. Seems like BM Hunters are playing Dark Ranger. Dark Hound seems to be pumping across the board. Single target AoE damage there. It's doing a lot of damage. I think it's like your top damage source by the end of the key. But it ain't looking good, bruv, for BM. Single target, very middle of the road. Even that sounds like a compliment. And its AoE is pretty diabolical as well. So I'm going to put BM in the C tier, I think. Maybe that's harsh. Maybe it could be bottom of B. But I think I'm going to put it C tier for now. Flame Shaper Dev got single target buff. Yeah, I know. Well, Dev just got a single target buff, didn't it? It got 10% disintegrate down. Whoa, I'm a lock main. What are we talking about? I've been in this game for too long, Jake. You can't do it to me. You can't do it to me. You can try. This tier list is based on power. Mainly Mythic Plus, but they can translate to Raid as well. Come on, buddy. They aren't going to play. Is that a royal at us? We've got plans, mate. Don't you worry. Riders or Sand Lane? Sand Lane for Unholy. BM always bounces. Yeah, I feel like BM is broken on every single PTR or beta cycle, and it just gets fucking nuked. Okay, so Marksmanship Hunter. This has just had some buffs as well. It's had buffs to volley, but I still don't think it's enough to actually warrant playing volley. I think you're still pretty locked into the other talents down the left side of the tree. But you did get a 10% buff to trick shots. I feel like MM was already in a good spot, and now it just trucks. This spec is pumping. It does incredible AoE damage. It's one of the burstiest specs in the game. Most of your damage is aim shot over the course of a key. I've seen like 50% of your damage is aim shot because you're playing Sentinels, so you're getting those Sentinels marks, which are buffing up your aim shot damage even further. With Sentinel, Lunar Storm seems to be more AoE based damage now as opposed to single target. It was kind of carrying your single target in the War Within. But going into Midnight, it seems like they've reversed that. However, the single target actually seems to be surprisingly good for marksmanship as well. So it's got great AoE damage. It's got decent, like respectable prio damage as well. And it does, it passes on single target as well. So we are in a very, very good spot in Mythic Plus for the Marksmanship Hunter. It's doing some big overalls. So I'm actually going to also place the Marksmanship in the A+ tier. I think this spec's a banger as it stands. Let me put on some, the music was kind of throwing me off there. How are we looking? There we go. Wait, what? Spotify's had an update? What the hell? Half is the same, second half is good. Perma nerf spec. Just S that Destro will be top dog as always. You are doing a whole lot of chatting, my friend. Yes, BM beta. Blizzard still hasn't figured out the most brain dead spec in the game. Outperforms all. What is all this hostility, chat? Let's have some positive vibes, shall we? Let's talk about how good Marksmanship Hunter is. Or let's talk about how good looking I am. Or something like that. I need your opinion on something on this because Seb has annoyed me. This is going to fuck up all of my setup here. I hate you. Not Pog. Wait, Seb, what? Oh, right. Yeah. The arms are looking jacked. Cheers, King. Chat, I signed up for a Hyrox in May, so I'm going to lose these arms. I'm going to become just like a skinny, like frail young man that can do lots of cardio. Hey, and you're great looking. Stop that, Lilith. You flirting with me right now? Been working out, mate. A little bit. Just a little bit. Doing your first High Rocks next month. Let's go, champ. What is it? Is it singles men? Doubles? Mixed doubles? I'd rather have done a doubles for my first time. Doing a singles is going to be fucking brutal. 100 wall balls at the end. Ow. You mean circuit training? Do you actually think you're going to alter your training a lot? Yeah, probably. This is pure performance, Rags. This is based off of how strong the specs are. Next up, and last up for the Hunter, we have the Survival Hunter. Now, this has had a massive rework coming into Midnight, so your damage sources have drastically changed. Boomstick is a massive source of your overall damage now. That button is so fun to press, but this isn't about fun. This is about pump, and boy, does Boomstick pump. You're constantly getting it back as well, so it's like every 30 seconds probably you're getting your Boomstick back, so damage for every single pack. You've got a short cooldown with your takedown, still a very boring cooldown, but when you pair that up with a Boomstick, my god, you are pumping. It seems like the play for Survival now is Pack Leader instead of Sentinel, so you're getting Stampedes every time you go into your takedown windows as well, so that's some big bursts right there. It does great priority damage because you've just had a little buff to your bomb prio damage as well, and you're constantly firing out bombs, but you're also getting Strikers 1 attacks from your pet, which is going to do even more prio damage and a little bit of cleave damage as well. So across the board, Survival is pumping. It does very decent single target, crazy good AoE damage, good prio damage. So damage is looking strong for the Survival Hunter. What I'll mention for the whole of the Hunter is I do actually think that Hunter is one of the tankier specs in the game now. I think where other specs have been pruned of their defensives, I would probably argue that Hunter is one of the tankier specs in the game. You've got 2 charges of Survival of the Fittest, which is your wall. You've got a short heal and Exhilaration. If you're playing Dark Ranger for either MM or BM, you also get... You proc those 2 off of each other. So you press Exil and you get a damage reduction from Survival of the Fittest at the same time. You've got Turtle, you've got Feigned Death, which can redirect casts at you as well. So survivability is not a problem for any of these specs. You also get some added survivability from your Mastery as a Survival Hunter. I think that's still the case. Did they change that? I actually haven't checked that, but you did get damage reduction with your Mastery. What does hurt the Hunter class as a whole, though, is they lost their AoE stop. So you lost Implosive Trap, which was your reliable AoE stop. You still have Binding Shot, which is an AoE stun, but is awkward to proc. However, you can now do that so that it fires them out, or however you would proc the Binding Shot, and then it recenters them to the Binding Shot, so you don't have to worry about knocking them all over the place and just making the pack infinitely harder. But what you can do now is you can talent your Intimidation into an AoE Intimidation. Is that target capped? I feel like that might be target capped to 5. So you obviously can't choose exactly what that's going to stun. But you do have somewhat of an AoE stun there. Where did I actually put this? But yeah, survival in all terms. But yeah, survival in terms of strength. Let me try that again. But yeah, survival in terms of damage, survivability, and utility to some degree is looking hot going into Midnight. So top of the A+ tier for now. It can keep up with some of these specs in the S tier and definitely Devourer as well. Was that a little coordinated assault from you two right there? Do you think you're funny, boys? Boys? Young men in the back right there. Love the shit out of your content, by the way. Probably my favorite content creator on YouTube this expansion. Let's go. That's a big compliment, my friend. Appreciate you, King. Appreciate that. MM single target is crap. It's not. It's actually not. It's not anything to write home about, but it's not crap. Giga Core. Giga Core. Why Havoc so low? Havoc is not looking too hot right now, Chief. Let's move over to Blizzard's favorite child then. And they just continue to shower their baby in gifts, don't they? My lord. Arcane, most broken spec in the game. S+ tier. Move on. Need I say any more? Now, they have had some recent changes, so you're actually playing Spellslinger now instead of what you were playing as Sun Fury before. Splinters are ridiculous. They are doing so much damage, and we are fully expecting a nerf. I mean, it is Mage, so maybe they'll just turn a blind eye to it. Who knows? But this spec is disgusting since the recent tuning, and it is definitely an outlier. Arguably should even have its own tier, but I do think like Unholy can keep up in some regard. It does a ridiculous amount of arcane orb damage, splinter damage, and barrage damage. It's got some of the best single target in the game, amazing AoE damage, some of the best priority damage in the game, as we know Arcane always does boast. It brings a lot of utility, so you've got your kick, obviously you've got Supernova or Dragon's Breath as an AoE stop. You bring Arcane Intellect to the group as well, which regardless of your comp is always going to be nice for your healer, so that's them in terms of utility. Big in terms of utility. However, in terms of defensives, Mage has actually taken a big hit going into Midnight. I feel this a lot when I'm playing Mage. You already had to be proactive as a Mage with your defensives before, but you had a plethora of defensives at your disposal. Now you have Barrier, which seems to just get munched ridiculously quickly. You have Alter Time, which you need to be very proactive with, and if you're not, that is what's going to separate a Mage from living and dying, is their Alter Time usage. Then you obviously do have your Ice Block or your Ice Cold as well, which is a massive defensive, but on a longer cooldown. So in terms of defensive capability, Mage has taken a big hit, but good players will still be able to live on the Mage and make real big use out of Alter Time. Have you seen Hopeful losing his mind? I've seen a few tweets about it. I saw Gingy's tweet. I wouldn't say that Mage is normal. I wouldn't say they're in line with other specs in terms of defensives now. It does kind of make sense in terms of their class fancy being that like glass cannon, but I would say that Mage is on the squishier end of classes now. So let's move on to Fire Mage then. So Fire has had some nerfs to Sun Fury, which are actually pretty big. So I'm imagining that you're probably going to be playing Frostfire now. They did buff Ignite and also Pyro. God damn, I wish they would just make Fire Ignite a thing, but I'm not so sure. But a lot of your damage is coming from Ignite. So Ignite is going to be a big source of your overall damage now. It already was, but even more so. Flame Strike is still pumping. Again, similar to Balance Druid, for some reason, I think it might be the amount of damage that Fire Blast is doing. I don't know. But somehow, even with the Flame Strike build, Fire seems to be doing decent priority damage. I do not understand that. So someone riddle me that. I don't get it. But outside of that, Fire feels super cooldown reliant, but you've just lost all access to your cooldown. You used to be like permanently in combustion. Now you're in combustion every minute, I think it is. So if you don't have combustion up for a pack, you're hitting like a wet noodle still. So they need to kind of bridge that gap a little bit, because in these lower keys especially, you feel so reliant on just the way that your cooldowns line up. Before you could outplay it and you could like rush it back with shifting power, you could time your cooldowns better because of the constant cooldown reduction on your combustion from kindling and stuff like that. But these are all just like flat combustion cooldown reduction talents now instead. So you can't really play around it. So I think going into higher keys, it might feel better because you'll have one combustor pack, maybe two at a push. But yes, Fire ain't looking too great right now. Its single target is the better of the two damage profiles in terms of single target in AoE. And I think, I mean, it's hard to say after the recent tuning because I haven't seen any Fire since. Because they got buffs to Pyro and Ignite, but they got nerfs to Fire Blast and also the Scold talent as well. So It'd be interesting to see where their single target lies, but I think it's fine for now. But I think in terms of just overall DPS, it's really suffering. It's still a mage, so it brings great utility to your group, as we've already mentioned. It's a little bit tankier than Arcane because you have your Cauterize, so you got your cheat death there as well. So that's a plus for Fire, but Fire definitely ain't looking too hot right now, if you pardon the pun. So we're going to put it in C. Oh yeah, lol. Wait, what are you saying? Oh yeah, lol. Oh wait, what are you talking about? Mass invis? Because when you're playing Fire, you can set yourself on fire, Omega, so it makes you really hot. But then, like, Fire isn't hot. Like, they're not doing too well going into. Yeah, my bad. I was doing a dumb. Don't highlight it, bro. Yeah, you hold that L, mate. You hold that L. Yeah, did I do a good job of explaining it as well? Did I explain the pun well? No, can you explain it again? No. Right, last mage spec then. We have Frost Mage, which has been one of the best mage specs on the beta so far. They have had some big changes recently, mainly to Frozen Orb, which has had its damage reduced by 20%. But from my testing, they have killed Frozen Orb, and it just seems to do no damage. So not sure what's going on there. And that's definitely going to hurt its AoE, but I still think its AoE is strong. You still got a lot of damage coming from your Shatter, your Comet Storm. You're going to do great damage in the niche scenarios that you have 2-target cleave, which also means that you've got good priority damage because Flurry hits like a truck. You've got your Glacial Spikes hitting 2 targets as well, and you've got your Ice Lancers hitting 2 targets. It's much more competitive on single target now, thanks to the recent buffs. So single target is looking good for the Frost Mage as well. And I think it's still in a decent place. Like, its AoE was godlike before, and I think it's kind of just been reined back in a touch now. So I still think Frost is going to be performing solidly in terms of damage. Same goes for the utility as the other 2 mage specs, but Frost also has access to an extra barrier and also an extra ice cold or ice block, which is really, really nice. So good mages are going to be able to take full advantage of that, and this is definitely the most tanky of the mage specs. Frost is in a good position in Midnight, but I do think it's fallen down a little bit. So I'm going to bring the Frost Mage to the top of the A tier. There is a world where it could slip into the A+ still, but I think I need a little bit more testing for that. So we'll revisit that next week. Fury to rule them all. We'll see about that one, Chief. We'll see about that one. Add a little bit of suspense there, shall I? Havoc is in the bin for now. I honestly, I would not be surprised if Blizzard just left it in the bin. I feel like Havoc never gets tuning. I feel like I always see people complaining that Havoc's just ignored. This is numbers, RJ. This is in terms of performance, my friend. Let's jump over to Windwalker then. So I played this the other day, and I do not want to play it again. I was playing Conduit of the Celestials, and single target damage is actually there for Windwalker. It actually kind of slams on single target. I'm not going to lie. It does a very good amount of single target damage, and therefore probably some good priority damage as well. However, the AoE damage is what's really, really letting this spec down. Now, I don't know if they need buffs to Spinning Crane Kick to make that more viable, because mass AoE is specifically where they do really struggle. They can get away with decent cleave damage from your Blackout Kicks cleaving and even like your Rising Sun Kick cleaving when it turns into that other one, but I think they need big buffs to Spinning Crane Kick and big buffs to Whirling Dragon Punch, and then we might be in a better spot. But the AoE is really, really letting this spec down, unfortunately. So Windwalker ain't looking too great going into Midnight at this current state. In terms of utility, it brings some nice utility. You've got a short AoE stun with Leg Sweep. You've got an AoE knock as well with your Ring of Peace. So that's 2 AoE stops, which is definitely very valuable. You've got your Paralysis as well, which can also be used to skip mobs. I haven't really seen much use for that, but you can paralyze the mob and then Ring of Peace them out so that your team can run past. You also bring Mystic Touch, which is nice for a physical comp. So we might see some value out of that if the numbers can get there. And then in terms of defensives, I'd say you're like pretty tanky as well. Definitely not as tanky as you used to be, but you still got Fortifying Brew, which is a solid defensive. You got Touch of Karma, which is on a short cooldown as well, which is super nice defensively. And then I'm pretty sure you get some passive healing through your tree, right? I don't think you get access to the instant Vivify anymore. So defensives is in a fine spot as well for the Windwalker Monk. That being said, though, I just don't think it brings that overall DPS to get it anywhere near to a respectable tier. So I am also going to put this in the D tier. I think it's going to go behind Havoc. Monks are cringe, they can stay dog water. True. True and real. It's a shame because Monk is actually really fun to play. Bring back Bone Dust Brew. That is some take, my friend. That is some take. I'm loving seeing Boomy higher than half. Honestly, I've been loving the spec. Good shit. What do you think about the Eclipse system, though, Sinclair? I like the new Boomy. I have not touched Boomy in a few expansions now, and Boomy used to be like my main. Like I was a druid, but I just haven't been able to play it and have fun. But I like this new Boomy, apart from the fact that you have downtime in your eclipses, because that just feels like ass. Every sun kick and you have free heal. How is that wrong? Get rid of Slicing Winds, yeah. Get rid of Slicing Winds. There's a lot of shit that Windwalker could get rid of. No, so I like the new Eclipse system by pressing one button to get into the Eclipse. But I don't like the fact that no matter how well you play the spec, you just have downtime outside of Eclipse. It feels horrid. Andrew, you get 2 bicep flexes because I almost missed your subscription to the Twitch channel. Thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate the 16 months, big dog. Legend. Oh, I've just realized. Wait, can you guys can see redeems in chat, can't you? So it doesn't look like I'm making up the fact that I just needed to do a bicep flex. Also, I love that you disagree with me and Artie calling the Eclipse system cringe. Well, no, because from what I understood, you were calling it cringe because you have to like actively press a button. I like that. I think that's better, but I don't like the fact that it's, you know, it's not timed correctly. They need like some cooldown reduction on the Eclipse button itself, is what they need. The Eclipse downtime is only a few seconds. Sometimes it can be like 10 seconds. I'd like to see Eclipse be an offensive spell with a buff, like New Moon, but it was... Ooh, now we cooking, Dylan. DB with the 2 years. 2 years too many? What do you mean by that, buddy? As in, like, it's just flown by so quickly because you know what they say. Time flies when you're having fun. Appreciate the support, my friend. Holy shit, we smashed the sub goal. Let's go. Surprised to see Feral in A tier. It feels very rough to play right now. This is in terms of performance, and Feral is doing decent. Continuing with the dog shit specs going into Midnight, we have the Retribution Paladin. I ain't sugarcoating it around here. My god, this is the epitome of mid, much like Havoc. A little bit better. We'll give it a little bit of grace, okay? So they've had buffs to both hero talents recently. I think you're still going to be playing Templar. the single target is not actually terrible like it usually is for Ret. And I think some of the talent reworks have helped bridge that gap where you're going to be able to do some AoE and some single target at the same time. They just need some buffs so that you're actually doing some damage, because it's really not looking hot for Ret right now. I haven't seen a load of it, and I think that is why, because it's just not doing great right now. So, I mean, that's it in terms of numbers. Priority damage really isn't there. Same old story for Ret. It's a lot of pad damage in AoE, so get them in the bin. In terms of defensives, you're still incredibly tanky. One of the tankiest specs in the game. Your Shield of Vengeance has been baked into your 1 minute DR, which I forget the name of. It's not going to come to me either. You've got your bubble as well. You've got self heals. You've got a lot of passive talents that just make you tanky as is anyway. So defensive capability is definitely not a problem for Ret, and neither is utility. So you've got Hodge, you've got single target stun. You've got AoE Blinding Light as well, which is a nice AoE stop. And then you've got all of your blessings for your group as well. So Blessing and Protection, Sacrifice, Freedom. Freedom is like whatever, but it's an addition. So there is that. And you also bring a Battle Res as well. So it's only really damage that is holding the Ret Paladin back. And I think that has kind of been the case for a while now. It seems to have always pumped in AoE and lacked in single target. But now it's doing some passable single target, but it's just overall damage is not there. So we're going to put the Retribution Paladin in the bottom of C. I will shed exactly 0 tears if Ret is mid to trash tier. What, you're not even going to shed some happy tears? Freedom actually kind of banger in some of the dungeons this season. Yeah, I guess there's a few routes, and there's what's the first boss in Pit? What, I don't actually know what the interaction is there. Resub Mocky with the Prime, you bloody legend. Looking forward to Necromancer Unholy. Yeah, I don't blame you, my friend. Hopefully they don't kill it. They're going to nerf it, but hopefully they don't kill it. That would be ideal. So, yeah, man. But I mean, regardless, like, Unholy feels fun to play, regardless of damage. So, when he slams, it's a slow dot, so you can freedom it. Yeah, that's nice. Is this an output tier list? Output, Treasy. This is how the specs are performing right now. Okay, Shadow Priest is actually a spec that I need to see more of since the recent tuning, because they got a 15% flat nerf across the board, but then they buffed individual abilities to compensate. So you got buffs to both of your dots, you got buffs to Mind Blast as well, and you got some bigly buffs to your Psychic Link damage. So Psychic Link is a huge amount of your overall damage now. And from what I have seen, Shadow actually still seems to be performing very well. I think you're going to now probably make the swap over to Archon, because Archon, the Halo got buffed by 50%. So that's a pretty beefy buff to your AoE damage. It's incredible in prio damage. I mean, Shadow Priest always is, right? That's exactly how their AoE damage works. They just fire all of their damage into a priority target. Single target has been very good so far on the beta as well, and I think that is probably still going to be the case even after the recent tuning. And its AoE I don't think is as good as its single target, but it's still in a good spot. So Shadow Priest in terms of damage I think is going to stay around about the same place. However, I do want to see a bit more of it since the recent tuning, because the buffs and nerfs are a bit all over the place. In terms of tankiness, you've got Fade on a short cooldown, you've got Dispersion, you've got Desperate Prayer, you've also got Flash Heal on yourself. I think, I mean, I could be wrong here, but are Shadow Priest struggling to get Angelic Bulwark as well? Because I feel like you want to play down the right side of the class talents, and it's harder to get over to the left. But there is Angelic Bulwark over there as well. So defensive capability is not a problem for a Shadow Priest. They have a lot of access to smaller defensives, but on a short or no cooldown. So that's nice. They bring great utility to the group as well. They've got Master Spell. They're the only hybrid spec in the game still with off healing in Vampiric Embrace, which is nuts when you're in a big pool or in your cooldowns. You're able to pump out a lot of healing there. You've got an AoE stop in Psychic Scream, though it's not the best AoE stop. It's definitely no stun. And you do take a hit with your... Let me do that again. And you do suffer with your silence because it's on a 45-second cooldown. I think you might be able to get it down to a 30. I'm not sure, but yeah, that definitely isn't ideal for Shadow. Is you can't kick anywhere near as often as other classes. So Shadow, I'm going to play it safe, and I'm just going to keep Shadow in the A tier for now. We're going to put it middle of the road in A tier, but I want to revisit this next week. Yeah, Unholy DK is... I mean, I wouldn't say it is ranged, but you can still fire off a majority of your damage at range, especially if you prepped accordingly. Right, let's roll over to the rogue then. So we're going to start with the worst of the rogue specs, which is Assassination. But it's by no means a bad spec. They have had some recent changes. They've got a few buffs, but I really don't think there's any difference to be made there, unfortunately. I think they still need a little bit more of a buff. We have nothing in the B tier yet. What the hell? Still quite a rampy spec. And going into Midnight, they've lost the reliance that they used to have on their group, or mainly their tank, in terms of setting up pools, because you've lost your reliance on your stealth windows, which is super nice because of the reworks. W rework, Blizz, love that. So yeah, it's lacking a little bit in single target. However, weirdly, by the end of the run, Envenom is the majority of your damage in a lot of cases. It's up there with your rupture damage. So that in essence shows that its priority damage is still pretty strong, especially in your Kingsbane windows. But yeah, you still pump out a lot of prio damage, and it's got strong AoE damage as well. Once you're ramped up, and if the mobs live long enough, then you really do get to work on AoE, especially when you've got your cooldowns rolling as well. So in terms of damage, it's not that bad. It is a rogue, so it brings some nice utility. You've got 2 single target stuns. You've got an AoE stop in your blind. You've got Sap, which is one of the 2 reliable CCs in the game that you can use to actually skip mobs. Though I haven't seen a whole load of skips this season. You've got Shroud of Concealment as well, which is super nice for skipping mobs too. Can Asa still silence? Is Iron Wire still a thing? Speedy? Can they still silence with Garrote out of stealth? Oh, okay, they can. So you can also silence out of stealth with your Garrote as well, and your Garrote doesn't go on cooldown out of stealth if you're talented into whatever that talent is called. So there's some nice extra passive silence or CC action going on there, which is great. In terms of defensives, you've got Feint on short cooldowns for AoE damage, which you can also swap out to Elusiveness if you're feeling frisky and don't want to play with a cheat death. Is that still correct? I think that's still correct. And then you've got your Evasion and Cloak on bigger cooldowns, which, I mean, we all know how potent Cloak is as a defensive cooldown, right? So Asa is unfortunately the worst of the rogue specs, in my opinion, for now, but it's still by no means, like I said, a bad spec. So we're going to put Asa as our first B tier. What's up, Rec? How's it going, Chief? Yeah, no, when I was talking then, I realized that I haven't really paid any attention to the rogue class tree. My bad. My bad, chat. Shroud is also good for making long pulls like the one in Arakara. Blind is no longer AoE. That's cap. Stop the cap. Wait, I've got to check that now. Wowhead assassination talents. Blind does AoE, yeah. I thought as much. I'm yeah, blind is AoE with talent. Yeah, I did it yesterday or whenever I played Asa last. But I had to double check. Crazy that you say they have nice utility when warrior brings more and they are shit at utility. I think that's a you take, my good buddy. Nice, Letho. I rate it. I rate it. That might be the worst WoW take I have ever seen. Oh, it's up there. Oh, it's up there. There's just some bugs with Asa stopping the AoE. That's what people say. Oh, really? Okay, interesting. Why is Havoc so low? Havoc's just not in a good spot damage-wise right now, unfortunately. Is Feral spreading Rake on AoE? I mean, yes, but it's not. I feel like there should be more emphasis on it. I think it would be a lot more fun to play double clawed Rake, and instead of swipe spamming, you just constantly like tab targeting or whatever and applying Rake to everything. But you would want to spread your Rakes anyway. But I think like the prio in AoE is to get like a few Rakes up and then just swipe spam to get more finishers. And swipe also pumps. Well, pump that's generous, but yeah. Next up, we have the Outlaw Rogue. Now, Outlaw has kind of fallen from grace a little bit recently. So they had some bugs that were holding it back. So Blizzard buffed it by 15%, but then they fixed the bugs and reverted the 15% damage buff. But the bugs didn't make up for that. So I do think the Outlaw has been nerfed pretty substantially. They also lost 10% melee damage as well, which is unfortunate. It does still pump on single target, and therefore I think like it also does do good prio damage as well. Its AoE damage is translated from its single target damage and prio damage. So all of your what was I going to say there? Sam with the 12 months, you bloody legend. Thank you for the 1 year, brother. Thank you. What was I saying? What did I just say, chat? I literally cannot remember what I just said. I was talking about the single target and prior, wasn't I? Why do you want that green sword, bro? It's cringe. Because it threw me off. I saw it come down. I know. They buffed Blade Flurry by 5%. Basically reverted the nerf. No, I wouldn't agree. I think Outlaw feels a little bit less strong now. Yeah, for fuck's sake, Sam, stop giving me money, mate. What the hell? You threw me off. So yeah, good single target, good prio. It suffers massively in mass AoE. Poor Speedy in Algathar Academy first pool. That's rough. So that holds it back. I wouldn't even say it holds it back, honestly, because I don't think there's that many big pools in season 1 of Midnight. So I think we're good there. You're still able to hit up to 8 targets with your Blade Flurry. Blade Flurry is the majority of your AoE damage. Blade Rush is pumping as well, so that's nice and gives a bit of variance to the overall damage sources. But it's still in a strong spot in terms of overall damage. So we're not going to let that hold it back. It's a rogue. We've got the same sorts of utility: 2 single target stuns, AoE blind, Shroud of Concealment, sap, all the works, which is super nice. Bring back between the eyes with the stun, with the passive stun from it. God damn. And then in terms of defensive as well, super strong in terms of defensives too. So Outlaw is still in a good spot, but I do think it's not as good as it previously was. So I'm going to put Outlaw in the A tier. there, I think. Could maybe be behind Feral. I'm not sure. I think those two are quite interchangeable. Airborne Irritant is a CD reduction. Are you still... Right. Wowhead Midnight Rogue Talent. I literally AoE blinded yesterday. Like, what are we talking about? Tools, Beta Talent Calculator, Rogue, Asa. Doesn't matter what rogue spec. It does say that it's only an 80% reduced cooldown. But I blinded. The tooltip's bugged. Okay. I would log into beta, but... Oh, wait, no, it is working right now, isn't it? Yeah, someone log into beta. Someone put this theory to the test. I will apologize to you, Versely. Like, you are right about the tooltip, but I do think that AoE blind is still a thing. You can tell the people that haven't played Outlaw the entire spec is broken forever. What have I missed, Sam? AoE blind is on retail anyway. Yeah, but it's a talent. It's Airborne Irritant makes it AoE. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I'm second guessing fucking everything right now. Okay. Last up for the rogue specs, then we have the sub rogue. So I'm pretty sure they're still playing Trickster, though Deathstalker did get some recent changes, so we'll see how that plays out. But with Trickster, they actually lost their priority damage in terms of light cleave, because before you would spam Shadow Strike, Eviscerate, and up to 8 targets. So you would be pumping a Prio Mob, which is really an amazing damage profile. But they've changed that all around now. So you proc your Nimble Flurry from like your Shuriken Storm, I think, maybe your Black Powder, I don't know. But basically you're not doing the single target rotation as much anymore. So you lose a lot of priority with that, unfortunately. And in turn, that's kind of turned Sub Rogue into just a padding machine. I'm sorry, Sub Rogues, but you are. You used to be the king of funnel, but now you're just a padding machine. Black Powder absolutely trucks. Does so much damage. And thing is Sub is going to look really good on an overall damage meter, but you need to see like where that damage is coming from. And a lot of it is Black Powder, which is just pure AoE damage, which is nice to have, don't get me wrong, but there's other specs that do it as much or close to as much AoE while still also nuking a prio target. So it's a little bit paddy. I don't think the single target is that strong either. They have a lot of damage inside their cooldowns regardless. We all know how bursty Sub is anyway, so it's nice for like damage amps and stuff like that, but the single target ain't looking too great either. They did also get a flat 8% damage reduction. So they are still pumping in terms of overalls, even since the recent tuning. However, I think people probably would at a glance rate it higher than it actually deserves. So I'm going to put the Sub Rogue in the top of A. I do think it is the best rogue spec right now. However, I think Outlaw isn't that far off. Same goes for utility and defensives with the Sub Rogue. Maybe you have more access to single target stuns with your cheap shots, but that's really nothing to note. So yeah, that's where the rogue specs are going. How bad is the game missing healers and tanks these days? It was a problem in The War Within, but I don't know how much of a problem it still is. Did I go live on YouTube? Yeah, I did. Thank fuck. I just changed it to Gouge Talent and tested it no longer blinds. AoE blinds. Flawless Form? What's Flawless Form? Is that Outlaw? It's the other way around for Airborne Irritant. Tooltip is right and intended, but they've forgotten to remove it from beta. Oh, okay. I mean, a bit of rage bait, a bit of engagement farm never hurt anyone, did it? Yeah, that's weird. We'll blame Blizzard for that one. Anyway, moving on, we have the Elemental Shaman. Now, Ellie got hit with a flat 5% nerf recently. Is that right? Let me do that again. Moving on then, we have the Elemental Shaman. So Ellie got hit with a 5% flat nerf and got even more nerfs to Lightning Bolt. I believe that was a 10% nerf to Lightning Bolt. So that's definitely going to hurt their single target a lot. I do think the Elemental is somewhat still cooldown reliant, however, nowhere near as much as before. Like in the War Within, it was so cooldown reliant. You had to get really lucky with procs outside of your main cooldowns to actually do damage. You still do damage outside of your cooldowns now, but you are pumping inside of your Ascendance windows. So, yeah. Yeah, it has good single target damage. I've been playing some more Farseer recently, and with the added Lava Burst, you are doing some very respectable single target damage. Since the nerfs, though, to Lightning Bolt was a big portion of your single target damage, so that could definitely hurt it. Its AoE damage is great, especially in cooldowns. Spamming those Earthquakes down back to back, pumping out a lot of damage. Chain Lightning's pumping as well. The Chain Lightning from your Ancestors as well, doing great damage. That is obviously target capped though, so that's not going to translate as much to mass AoE, but that's where the Earthquakes come in. And then in terms of cleave damage as well, you do have your AoE Lava Burst as well. Whenever you Voltaic Blaze, you get an AoE Lava Burst, so you're getting some extra cleave there. It doesn't have great priority damage though, unfortunately. It lost a lot of priority damage from losing Echoes of the Great Sundering, but I'm sure that's a trade that we would all take 10 times over. So that is it. So that is that in terms of damage. Defensive-wise, very, very squishy. So other specs have lost a lot of defensives and they're still not feeling that bad, but Elemental and Shaman as a whole is already squishy anyway. They've lost Stone Bulwark Totem going into Midnight, so that's a big defensive hit. And now, honestly, it literally feels like you only have Astral Shift, which is on a minute and a half cooldown. So outside of that, you get like 15% extra health if you summon an Earth Ellie, but outside of that, you're pretty cooked, unless you can get a kickoff, and then the damage that is actually done to you within that time frame is the same damage as the damage that you kicked. I don't know, that just seems to me like if it happens, it happens, but yeah. Hey, what's up, Smartboard? Thank you for the hydrate. Let's go, Smartboard. That gasses me up, my friend. I appreciate the kind words. Yeah, man. I mean, it is a tier list, so the numbers are inflated today. But, I mean, all of the guys that are hitting the follow button right now, you guys are sticking around, right? We're making Midnight content. We're pumping Midnight content out all the way up until release. Thank you for the follows, gang. If you haven't checked out the YouTube channel, go and check out the YouTube channel now, please. We are so close to hitting 60k subs. Like, I might hit it this week. I'm not sure. Probably won't hit it this week, but we are so close to 60k subs. And if every single one of you in this Twitch stream subs to my YouTube channel, which is completely free, and we're pumping out Midnight content to help all of you guys pick your mains for Midnight, because I'm in the same process myself, then we'd hit 60k right now. You guys got me? Love that from you guys. Love that from you guys. But yeah, we're going to be updating this tier list every week going forward. I'm going to be doing fun tier lists. I'm going to be doing easiest to hardest tier lists as well, which you guys loved before. Then we're going to be doing not tier lists, but like all of the DPS ranked against each other in terms of fun, like melee ranked, ranged ranked, 5 save classes that you can main for Midnight, 5 save classes for Mythic Plus, 5 fun classes, what's the best class in Midnight, raid guides, dungeon guides, the works. So yeah, if any of that interests you guys, then hit me up with a follow or a sub, gang. And I'm 6'6" and jacked out my fucking mind and cringe as fuck. Let's go. Did I sell myself? And humble. Playing with his head, show off the arms. No. No, I realised the back of my hair was all stood up. And I'm not balding as well. Prove height and I sub. How do I prove it? I want how organised or messy is best closet behind on every tier list he is doing. What are you guys clipping? I feel like it's pretty tidy. Why does that sound like a Love Island intro? I'm actually applying for Love Island, unironically. I know that's cringe as fuck, but at least I know it's cringe, right? Rank the locks. All right, mate. Fucking hell. God forbid I inject a bit of personality into this tier list and I'm not just fucking AI for you. My bloody God. Shut up and rank the next spec. You're not allowed to actually be a functioning human. Holy shit. We're not... no, I was about... No. I almost flamed the WoW community just then. The best one, Love Island, has my vote. Would you guys vote for me? Would you tune in and watch? Just read your chat GPT notes. It'll look pretty, mate. Get on with it. Where did I get to? We were on Elemental, weren't we? So yeah, if this does make it into the meta, it's definitely going to need babying by other DPS or healers or whatever, like prop pally tanks. I don't know. In terms of utility, honestly, not bad. It's got Capacitor Totem as an AoE stun. It's got the shortest kick in the game. It brings a few different totems which have their uses in their own scenarios. It did lose its AoE knockup from Thunderstorm, right? But it still can be used as a knockback, but I'm never a fan of knockbacks. I feel like it honestly just makes the pulls harder sometimes. So yeah, utility is definitely not a detriment to this spec. And I'm going to place Elemental at the top of the A tier. Definitely a strong spec going into Midnight as it stands. The mask nearly slipped. I'll tune in for the Giga Cringe. What, you guys don't believe that I've got any Riz? Holy shit, that actually got you to 60k, don't say. It's what I'd say if everyone subbed. Fuck you. Fuck you. I think we actually did get a fair amount of subs there. You're single now? There is the answer. Yeah, but God knows for how long. I'm a wanted man, chat. You guys are going to have to get in the queue. You got my sub now. Appreciate you, Native. Thank you, my friend. Okay, enhanced then. So we haven't been able to reliably test Totemic on the beta because for some reason the totem pulls everything within 40 yards regardless of if you're in combat or not. However, I did manage to get a pretty clean run in Algathar, and my god, this spec pumps out mass AoE. Its mass AoE is actually cracked. It all comes from Flame Tongue Weapon, interestingly enough. So I feel like that might see a little bit of a nerf. I'm not sure, but yeah, really, really strong mass AoE. It's got good AoE. It does good damage regardless as Stormbringer as well. I do think its single target is lacking, unfortunately. I think the single target is... I don't actually know what the single target would be better on, Totemic or Stormbringer, because you've got big Tempests on Stormbringer, but you've got your Lava Lash Hot Hand procs on Totemic. But, I mean, regardless, the single target damage inside of cooldowns is decent, but outside of that, not so great. So that kind of holds it back a little bit, unfortunately. But definitely not a bad spec. It is still pumping out some good numbers. And I feel like it's rare for Enhance to do big mass AoE damage as well. So that could definitely help it. If it can get its cleave and single target damage in line, then Enhance will be in a very good spot. In terms of defensive, again, the same story as Elemental, very squishy. Feels really squishy. You do get the instant healing surges as enhanced, so that can save you in a pinch. But I mean, they really aren't the strongest of heals, unfortunately. But you do have that over elemental at least. And utility, the same story. I forgot to mention utility Sky Fury for elemental as well. Obviously, really nice sought after buff, especially for those melee comps. So that's a nice addition. You've got your Ankh too. So I mean, can you look at that as basically a cheat death? Maybe, I don't know, in a pseudo cheat death, let's say. Does it bring any other utility that's useful? Yeah, I think that is it in terms of utility. So we'll place enhance. I'm going to place it at the lower end of the A tier. I think I'm going to slam it there for now. Fancy word? What did I say? Thank you for all the follows, gang. Chat, we're 70 followers off of 16k on Twitch, by the way. So do with that what you will. Prime sub, prime sub, prime sub. Cupcake. Fucking hell, we got there in the end. Cupcake, thank you very much for the prime, my friend. Followed and subbed. Appreciate you. That's big work from you, my friend. Posture check. Third timey. Third Timmy. Cheers. Cheers. Let's have a look at Warlock then, shall we? Fucking hell. I thought that I was going to fly through this, but apparently not. Where the fuck are my Warlock notes? There we go. Okay, so Athlock, they recently got a 30% nerf to Dark Harvest, which was a main source of their overall damage. So that's definitely going to hurt their AoE a little bit, but I really don't think that's going to be too much of a problem. Ath is doing work in AoE. It's just seed spam after seed spam. You can't even spend your seeds quickly enough because you've got so many soul shards. It's a joke. So mass AoE damage for the Athlock is incredible, and I'm sure it will continue to be, but it's kind of that same problem with Ath that we've had where it lacks in single target. Your left side of the talent tree, it leans into your single target, your right side leans into AoE, so you can't reliably get a good grasp of both, and therefore your priority damage lacks as well. I'm not sure exactly the best way to play Ath. I'm not sure if they're putting up an unstable affliction on their main target and keeping that running whilst continuing to spam seeds. I don't feel like that would even be worth it. I think you would just spam these instead. Agony's doing a lot of damage as well. But yeah, the single target isn't as bad as it has been in previous iterations of Ath, but it's still not up there. So that is holding it back from being like a meta spec, for example, because outside of that, its damage is very, very strong. You don't? Yeah, I didn't expect that you would. It is a Warlock, so you are passively very tanky. You've got access to Dark Pact on a short cooldown, and you've got Unending Resolve. You've got Mortal Coil as a quick heal. You've got your Hellstones. Honestly, when I'm playing Warlock at the moment, I really do notice how much tankier you are than other specs, so that is super nice. In terms of utility, you bring Hellstones to the group. You've got Gateways, which is very niche utility. And apart from that, you don't bring a whole lot. Like, you've got an AoE in your Shadow Fury, so I mean that's an added bonus. But utility is kind of like whatever. Like it brings enough. If it does the damage, the utility is not going to hold a Warlock spec from being brought to the group. So for Ath, I am going to place it in the A+ tier. I think. Ooh, is it going in front or behind MM? I think we'll stay in front of MM. A solid spec going into midnight. Understood, thanks. Oh, wait. Even if there's a prior target, you'd have your Haunt on it, and I think via talents it buffs the damage. Oh, yeah. Right. Demonology. So this spec has been absolutely cranking and has been the best spec on beta so far until maybe the recent tuning. I do think that Arcane is slightly better, and Demonology has had some nerfs to Soul Harvester. So I believe you're probably swapping over to Diabolist now. But the thing with Demo is both of the hero talents. I mean, well, I was going to say both of the hero talents are carrying the damage. That was definitely the case for Soul Harvester, but also the Apex talents are destroying, and they look incredible as well. So, I mean, Demo brings it all, man. It does amazing AoE damage, great cleave damage. It's some of the best single target in the game as well. So you really cannot fault it in any realm of damage. You've got short cooldowns as well. Your Tyrant's on a 1 minute cooldown, so you're going to have damage for every single pack in higher Mythic Plus, which is super nice. Again, super tanky, so that's not going to hold it back, and it brings the same utility as I've mentioned for AF as well. So Demo is going solidly in the S. I do think it's still better than Unholy, but I do think Arcane is almost just in a league of its own at the moment. Yeah, this is official Blizzard ranking. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, Destro then, the last Warlock spec, did just get some buffs to its single target damage, but I don't think that that's really going to be enough. I think its single target damage is passable, but even that would probably be questionable. I don't know. So, single target is holding it back. AoE damage, it still does amazing mass AoE damage. Like you're going to be able to top damage meters and maybe even overalls in like your Algathar Academies, for example. Your Infernal's now 1.5 minutes cooldown, so you're going to get that much quicker. Infernal absolutely pumps as well, so that's really going to help with your overall AoE damage. And then you've obviously got your Rain of Fire spamming as well. So it doesn't bring great priority damage. There is like a Chaos Bolt build that people do talk about, but I don't know how viable that actually is. Like in lower target count dungeons, I don't know if you'd just be spamming Chaos Bolts instead, but Chaos Bolt, I feel like it still needs some love. So yeah, it's not looking too great in terms of priority or single target damage for the Destruction Warlock. Great defensively, and it also brings like decent utility to the group as well. So the Destruction Warlock, I am going to place in the A tier, but towards the bottom. Shit, Omega 88, F6H. Is the Chaos Bolt only / no rain build still viable? I'm not sure. Somebody said about it in chat when I was playing it yesterday, but I haven't seen it. And then our final class is the Warrior. So Warrior got some big single target nerfs. So its single target has really taken a big hit, which has really hurt the spec overall. It does very good AoE damage, which is the typical case with arms, right? We're doing some big cleave damage, some big Bladestorm damage after the recent buffs to Bladestorm as well, but it's lacking on that single target, which is unfortunate. It also got a massive Dreadnought nerf as well. So Overpower's not going to be pumping as much as it did before. In terms of utility, what? Wait, let me see. I just realized. Bear with me, chat. Bear with me. Okay. Where was I? In terms of utility, you can talent into Stormbolt, which is a single target stun. You've got Shockwave as an AoE stun if you talent into that as well. You got your kit, you got your Rallying Cry, and you do bring Battle Shout for a physical comp, which is a nice addition, but I wouldn't necessarily like write home about it. Defensively, you've got your die by the sword, you've got your ignore pain, you've got quick heal. Again, I think if you're talented into that, but Fury is definitely the tankier of these two specs. So for the arms warrior, I'm going to put this in the B's here. I think, yeah, maybe above Asa. I think it can pump out some good numbers, but just not quite there yet. And then finally, we have the Fury Warrior, which is actually surprisingly doing work. It is pumping, man. It's got crazy good single target, which translates into prio damage as well. Bloodthirst just got a buff as well, so you're going to be doing even more damage with that. It just got some like quite big buffs across the board as well recently. So you're doing great single target there. Your AoE is carried by Reap the Storm, because you're tending to play Slayer at the moment, but Reap the Storm is farming too. So yeah, this spec is definitely pumping. Is it still target cap, chat? Because somebody told me that its target cap was removed. This dude has no idea what he's talking about. Yeah, true. Who is this? Who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck is it? Zug Zug, can you start up your stream and we'll come watch your tier list, please? Please. Cap was removed. Cap was removed. Yeah, I don't actually know. Zug Zug 3-8 waiting room. True. True. Rampage has a talent that removes target cap, but it's weird. Oh, the talent is good. Okay, I won't mention it then. So yeah, across the board, this spec is blasting. It's got passive like self-sustain as well throughout its rotation. So you're noticeably tankier than Arms Warrior. You've got Enraged Regeneration. You can talent into a quick heal as well. You've got your Rallying Cry too. Spell Reflect, the works. So defensively, Fury is in a very good spot too. Unfortunately, it's the same story for Warrior as a whole. Like, it's just the utility that isn't so great for it. Again, you can talent into a single target stun with your Stormbolt, AoE stun with Shockwave, and you're also bringing Battle Shout for a Fizz comp if you are going to play a Fizz comp. But Fury is looking strong right now, man. All the specs I play are bad. No, Cedric, no. Thanks for the follows, peeps. Appreciate you all. The problem is with this spec is I do feel like it is very comp dependent. It's not really a spec that you can just take to any comp and it's going to perform at like the highest level. I mean, it will in terms of damage, but in terms of like bringing things to the group, I do feel like it's ranked there for like a physical comp. Maybe it would get touched down a peg if it was a caster comp or something like that. But that is my first power tier list for Midnight. So that is all of the specs ranked against each other in terms of how strong they are. We're going to update this every single week, okay? So it's going to be a progressive tier list. Every week we're going to update it on the build up to Midnight. And by the time Midnight launches, we'll have a very, very solid idea of how the specs are performing. So the outliers at the moment are Arcane Mage, we've got Demonology Warlock and Unholy. The specs that need some love, definitely Havoc and Windwalker, and even the specs in the C tier as well. There you go, chat. What moves would you make? What did I get wrong? What did I get right? There is no way Devourer isn't meta. Nah, I wouldn't say it's meta right now. The other specs are too bloody strong. Is beta still down, chat? Oh, beta is still down. Unlucko. So what's your main? You'll have to stick around to find that one out, won't you? Yes, you will. Chat, before you all leave me, because I know you will just use and abuse me for that tier list, I'd appreciate a sub over at the YouTube. We're pumping out midnight content pretty much every day until midnight releases. And it's mainly going to be helping you guys pick your mains while I'm in the process of picking my mains. That is the content that I love to make, because before I was a content creator, the only bloody thing that I would Google or YouTube is how to pick my main, how to actually stick to a main that I've chosen. What's the most fun spec? And a lot of what I do is more based on like gameplay and fun. We'll throw a power tier list in there at some point and enjoy that, because who doesn't want to know what's meta? But for the most part, especially while we're this far out, I do try and steer a bit clear of the power tier list, because whatever is meta on there right now is not going to be meta by the time the season rolls around, okay? Let's go, Scorpion. Appreciate it. Sure, simp, whatever you say. Shit, how do you know I'm a simp, bro? Wait, if I missed some more Zugs, I shouldn't give him attention, should I? But it's kind of funny. This man just is so unhappy with his own life that he's gone into a random YouTube chat, not even a Twitch chat, and just spreading hate. Because he hates himself so much. It's unfortunate, it really is. I hope things get better for you, buddy. Go for a run or something. Go get outside, move your body, get some endorphins flowing, and then maybe you'd come back to the YouTube chat and be like, wow, I enjoy this. Go to a High Rocks. I booked in at High Rocks. Oh yeah, I already told you. I'm sorry, I've just got to make it my whole personality now. So yeah, there is that. He's angry about arms. I mean, the name checks out, right? The name checks out. Right, who should we host, chat? Jake, do you want to go live? I don't know what you'd stream, but if you want to go live, I'll send the gang your way. I've made running my whole personality. Yeah, it happens. It do be happening like that. No one's live. I guess it's like beta's down, isn't it? So yeah, Fury's looking good, man. Fury is looking good for sure. Havoc's at the bottom of the list, unfortunately, my friend. I guess it's TBC today as well, isn't it? So let's send you guys over to Waves, I reckon. Waves hasn't been on WoW in a while, so let's welcome him back to WoW. Let's send you guys over there, okay? Chat, if you missed any of this tier list, then I'm going to be uploading it on YouTube over the weekend. It's basically like a new CrossFit, yeah, that's what High Rocks is. There's the YouTube if you're not subbed to the YouTube, so you don't miss out on that. I'll be uploading other videos over the weekend as well, so go check that out. Go watch my recent videos as well. I've done the winners and losers of melee DPS, the winners and losers of range DPS, the easiest specs in Midnight. I've even done a video called Choosing My Main, which is me going through every thought process about how I choose my main, and I'm slowly going to whittle it down throughout that series. And I think that will help you guys also pick a main as well. So yeah, appreciate you guys for watching today. Appreciate those of you that might stick around even outside of the tier list season. And thank you for all the follows. We got a shit ton of followers today, so that's a dub. And also, thank you for the subs. Middle, thank you for the 5 gifted. I'll be back on Monday for another stream, chat. I don't stream on weekends, but I stream every day during the week from around 2 p.m. British time to like 5, 6, 7. We'll see. But yeah, go say what's up to Waves. Hope you all have a lovely weekend, people. And I will catch you guys on the flip side.